welcome to Off the Wall Yoga. So we're going to bring ourselves to the back of the mat, so our bodies are all the way up against the wall, heels touching the wall if you can. Roll the shoulders down into the back pockets. Try and tether the ribs and hips towards each other, tucking that tailbone down. Bring the arms to cactus arms, trying to keep the hands onto the wall without flaring those ribs. Squeeze that belly back as much as you can. Elbows in line with the shoulders, and push that head into the mat, into the wall, shoulders into the wall. Take a breath in, raise the hands up a little. Take a breath out, release those elbows back to shoulder height. And again, push those hands on the inhale up a little, and then release those arms, elbows back to shoulder height. Keep pushing that lower back in towards the wall. Keep drawing that belly back towards the spine. Keeping that core engagement, squeezing the bum, pushing those hip flexors forward slightly, moving those arms up and down that wall a few times. Just one more time, raising the hands on the inhale, releasing the arms on the exhale. Then bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Widen your stance to as wide as you can take it. I'm going to mirror image you, so turn your left toes out, your right toes are pointing forward. Bring the arms back to shoulder height. Take a gaze towards that left hand, then reach forward with that left hand, keeping the shoulders and arms and hips engaged to the wall. Then bring that left hand to the inside of that left leg, reaching that right arm up to the ceiling. All the time pushing the back, the shoulders, the bum into the wall. So we've got a nice flat body, so we're not pushing that bum out, arching that back. We're trying to keep everything in line. Long breaths in, long breaths out, maybe gazing up towards that right hand if you wish. Triangle pose up the wall. The wall is going to want to push you forward. Try and keep pushing that body back into the wall. One more breath in triangle pose. And then bring those arms back up. Then we're going to turn those feet. So this time, your left toes turn to face forward, your right toes turn to face to the outside. And then we reach forward with the right hand, bring it to the inside of the right leg, and the left hand lifts. Keep pushing the shoulders into the wall, the bum into the wall. Try not to hyperextend through the legs. Feeling the stretch down that left side of the body. Keep encouraging that left shoulder back into the wall. Holding it here just for a couple of breaths. Then bring those shoulders again back up over those hips. Turn the toes back in, heel toe the feet back together, and just have them hip width apart. Walk them slightly forward. We're going to bring yourself into a chair position. So start to let the bum sink down the wall, and then if those knees have come over those toes, bring those feet a little further forward, trying to bring those thighs parallel to the mat. Feet are pointing forward, knees stacked over the ankles, back pushed into the wall. Raise up the arms to shoulder height and hold it here for the count of 10, 9, keep squeezing the belly back, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Without flaring the ribs, raise the hands up towards the wall. Keep pushing that lower back into the wall. Then bring those arms into cactus arms and do the same as we did in standing. The in-breath, raise the hands up. The out-breath, bring those elbows back down to shoulder height. In-breath, raise those hands up. Out-breath, elbows back to shoulder height. 2 more times. In-breath, keep pushing that back into the floor, into the wall. Out-breath. 1 more time. In-breath. And out-breath. Bring those hands back in front, shoulder height. Hold it here 9, 8, maybe those thighs are starting to fatigue, strengthen those quads. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands to the wall, push yourself away from the wall, straighten up through the legs, and take a paddle through those legs. So bringing your body to the side of the wall, whichever side you want to work on. So I'm working with my right shoulder towards the wall. My right foot comes in slightly, but a little space from the floor. We put the weight into our left foot, and we take a lift up of that right knee, up to hip height. Then we reach forward with that right hand, heel toe that left foot in a little further. Then as you breathe in, we keep that right hip pushing into the wall as we lift that right hand up and over. So we then bring your left hand in line with the shoulder as well. So we have a rotation towards the wall to the right side with that right leg lifted, shoulders turned towards the wall, hips stay neutral towards the side of the room, holding it in this standing balance with rotation, with hip flexor strength, lifting that right leg. That wall is just help to make that twist a little deeper. Keep pushing into the big toe of that standing left foot. Breathe in here. The toes of the right foot back to the shins to make that leg active. Just holding it for a few more breaths. Then lift that right hand back up and over. Release that right foot to the floor. Turn yourself around to the opposite side. This time my left shoulder is touching the wall. We bring a bend into your left knee. Heel toe those toes a little closer towards the wall. Then reach forward with your left hand. Bring it up and over. Turn the chest towards the wall. Bring your right hand up to shoulder height. That knee stops that pelvis turning into the wall. The rotations coming from the waist. The shoulders are coming along for the journey. If you wish to take a little rotation through the upper spine, the cervical spine, take the gaze back towards that left hand. Try and turn the waist a little deeper. That pelvis can't move because that knee is stopping us moving it into the wall. Keep pushing into the big toe side of that standing right leg. Holding it here just for a few more breaths. And then bring that left hand back up and over. And release that left foot down to meet right. And take a paddle of the feet. So just bring yourself away from the wall a little bit. Have the hands on the hips, so my back is going to be facing you right now. Take a breath in. Take a breath out and fold from the hips to a half fold. Reach forward with the hands. Hopefully the hands can come flat on the wall. So we've got that L shape. Try now the heels under the hips. Walk the hands down so they're in line with the hips. Then let the chest sink into the inside of those biceps. And then try and squeeze that belly back, lifting it in towards the spine. Engaging through the centre of the body as we're taking this L-shaped forward fold. Long breaths in, helping stretch through those triceps, working those deltoid muscles. Holding it in this half fold with that little support of the wall. Head stays in line with the spine. Body just for another couple of breaths. Then keeping the hands where they are, just lift up with the chest. Stepping your right foot toes just up the wall slightly so we stretch through the bases of the feet. Step your back foot back a little further. And then fold so we bring ourselves down over that front straight leg. Holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those shoulders back up over those hips. Step your right foot back to meet the left, and then bring your left foot forward, toes slightly on the wall, stretching through the bases of the feet. Breathe in, elongate the spine. Breathe out, start to fold over that front leg. Bringing those elbows to the wall, stretching through the shoulders, keeping the hips neutral, encouraging your right hip forward, your left hip back, encouraging your right heel to the mat, stretching through those calves and Achilles in this pyramid pose, holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift that chest, bring the shoulders back over those hips. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Walk the hands a little further up the wall, and then just let that chest sink. Feeling that stretch through the shoulders, keep engaged through the centre. Holding it in this angle so we get a stretch through the heels on both feet. Stretch through the shoulders. Keep pushing the hands into the wall, the feet into the mat. Try not to let that lower back arch feel the extension through the thoracic spine. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk the feet slightly inwards. Bringing your right foot onto the wall, hands onto the hips, balancing on your left foot, making sure that leg is nice and straight. And the wall is supporting the foot. Try not to let the right hip lift. Hands on the hips for a moment. Find that balance. Then reach the right hand forward. Lift it up and over to twist towards the right side of the room. Then reach the left hand towards the wall. That rotation again, but this time with a straight leg. That wall supporting the foot. Holding it here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those hands back up and over. Bring your hands back to the hips. Let that right leg come back to the floor. Take a couple of the feet. And then take it on the other side. So the weight comes into the right leg. You then reach forward with the left leg. Let the foot plant on the wall, keep the hips neutral, holding the hands on the hips just to find your balance, pushing into that grounded foot, the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, the toes of the foot. Then reach that left hand forward, up, over, find that twist, reach right hand towards the left foot, turn and twist towards the left side of the room, holding it in standing pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that left hand back up and over. Bring both hands back towards the hips. Release that left foot down to meet the right. Take a paddle with the feet. Keeping yourself in this distance from the wall, turn yourself around to the front. Hands stay on the hips. I'll mirror image you again here. So bend that left knee up to hip height and then send that left foot back towards the wall. Hopefully that foot can ground onto the wall at hip height. So you're holding it here in Warrior 3. Try and neutralise the hips. Bring the hands to the chest. So that back leg is being supported by the wall, so the left foot grounding into that wall. The right foot is pushing into the mat. Holding it in this Warrior 3. Maybe you want to reach out forward with the hands or keep them to the chest. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee back up and through, up to hip height. Then release that foot back to the mat. Take a bend this time into your right knee. And then send that right foot back towards the back of the room, bringing that foot onto the wall, hips neutral, holding it in warrior 3, with that support of the wall, hands at the chest or reaching forward, for 5, 4, 3, keep the hips neutral, 2, 1. Then bringing that bend back into that back leg, bring it back through up to hip height, then release that foot back to leave the left. Take a paddle through the feet, a little movement through the shoulders, then coming down onto your knees into a tabletop position. Walk the knees back as far as you can towards the wall till the feet start to touch. Then bring your left foot and left knee back totally to the wall and reach your right knee a little further forward. Lift up, bring the hands onto the hips and try and tuck that tailbone under so you get that stretch through that front thigh on that left side. Holding it here just for a few breaths, finding that stability in that grounded knee, the stretch through the thigh, the tuck of the tailbone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hands down. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. Bring your right leg back all the way to the wall. The foot totally up the wall, the knee pushing into the base of the wall. Then push into that front knee. Bring the hands onto the hips. Feel that hip stretch, flex in that right side hip flexor. Keep tucking that tailbone down, try not to flare through the ribs. Holding it here now for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hands down, bring both knees back, just come onto the knees. Bring the sit bones to the heels, foreheads to the mat, and just allow that body to fold over those legs. Take a nice long deep breath in, and a long breath out. So we're going to come up into either a hand or forearm stand here. So bringing the hands forward to about halfway up the mat, maybe a little bit further forward actually, maybe 3/4 of the way up the mat. Bring your feet onto the wall, up to hip height, and then push into one of the feet to lift the other foot onto the wall, and then find an L-shaped position with the hands pushing into the mat, the feet pushing into the wall. Maybe this isn't for you if you want to take the forearm. So come onto the forearms, elbows in line with the shoulders, interlace the fingers, take the feet onto the wall, push into that wall, lift up the hips and send the gaze back towards that wall. Keep pushing into those forearms, strengthening through those shoulders. So either staying here for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring those feet down. If you want to take it into that second position with the hands, we're going to go back into that position again in a moment. If you want to stay with dolphin pose, stay with dolphin pose. So if you're coming with me this time, bring the hands just about 3/4 of the way to the front of the mat. Step the foot up the wall and bring the other foot to me. And then push that chest back. Bringing that L-shaped position. If you want to walk the hands a little further closer to the wall, making that a little stronger on those shoulders, lifting the hips, gazing back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the feet down, come onto the knees, bring the foreheads onto the mat. Hands down by the sides of the body. Just take a moment in child's pose. And then coming back up with the between the hands. Then take that your right knee back towards the wall. So that back foot is at the wall, your front foot is in between the hands. Then bring your hands up onto that knee. For me, it's on the left side. Tuck that tailbone under. Feel that stretch down that quad on that right side as you're pushing that foot into the wall. Holding it here for a few breaths. Push those hips a little further forward if you can. One more breath. Then release the hands down. Bring your your left knee back. Bring that foot to the wall. Bring your right foot forward. Lift the shoulders. Bring the hands onto those knees. Then push those hips forward to feel that stretch in the thigh on the opposite side. Into that left hip flexor, left quad. If you need to support the knee slightly, maybe bring a tea towel or something under the knee, or roll your mat up to give it a little more support, or knee pads if you have them. Just holding for another couple of breaths. Then release those hands down, bring your left knee back. Turn yourself around now to the wall. Bring the knees as close to the wall as you can, the hips pushing into the wall. Knees are hip width apart, feet are hip width apart. Place the hands on the lower back and then start to breathe in, lifting the chest, keeping those hips touching the wall as much as you can, taking it into a back bend, into camel, a version of camel. Push those hips as much as you can into that wall. Knees are in line with the wall as well. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift that chest. And then coming back out and lifting back up, shoulders over the hips. Then tuck the toes under, keep those knees pushing into the wall as much as you can, the hip flexors pushing in, so squeeze that bum, lift that chest. You can either stay in this position again here, or bring one hand down to one heel, one hand to the other. Keep that engagement with the wall, with the pubic bone, the hip bones, the thighs, the knees, taking it into that full camel expression, lifting the chest, gaze up to the ceiling. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands back to the lower back, lift back up, untuck the toes, bend into the knees. Swing the legs around. So the way to get up into the wall here is we need to bring the hip to the wall first, and then swing the legs around, keeping the bum as in contact with the wall as you can. Then bring yourself a little closer with the bum cheeks when those feet have come up high. So we're just taking staff pose in supine position for a few breaths. So bring the toes back to the shins, push the heels into the wall, bring the arms out to a T shape, push those shoulders into the mat. Keep pushing the heels away, toes back, just taking our feet into an elevated state above the heart to take the pressure off the heart, as we won't need to be pumping that blood into those lower limbs, which will allow that heart just to take a little break. Then from this position, let the legs slide down the wall, taking it into a wide leg supine position. Keep pushing the heels in, keep the legs nice and straight. Engage the upper thighs to bring those kneecaps into a slight lift. Feel that stretch through the inside of the thighs. Just holding it in this position for a few breaths. Maybe closing the eyes, pushing that lower back into the mat. Breathing in completely through the nose, out through the mouth or the nose, whichever is working for you. And then from this position, just take a bend. I'm going to mirror image you into your left leg and bring the heel of that left foot in towards the groin, and then hold it in this position. Dragonfly up the wall pose. Keep those eyes closed. Keep trying to encourage that left knee to squeeze towards that wall as much as you can. That right leg to have that full stretch on the inside of that thigh. Supported in the lower back, through that pelvis. And then straighten out with that left leg, bring it back wide. Then bring that right foot heel in towards the groin, help it in with the hand if you need to. Then try and push that right knee into the wall as much as you can. Feeling the stretch on the inside of the thighs, those abductors. Trying to let that left leg relax open. And then bringing the opposite leg back in. So we're going to find butterfly legs now. So the soles of the feet come together. Place the hands on the knees and just try and encourage those knees out a little further, keeping that lower back pushed into the mat. Keep encouraging those knees a little closer towards that wall. Use the breath to find some more range of movement. Then bring those knees back together in the centre. Just push yourself away from the wall slightly. That right foot stays on the wall, and bring your outside edge of your left ankle onto the top of that right thigh. Figure four position, pushing into the wall with that right foot, and then maybe lifting those hips up to stack, and then bringing them back down nice and slowly, using that glute strength to lift the hips as you push that right foot into the wall, going in and out of flexion, keeping that left knee turned out. One more lift. And lower. And squat feet, bringing your left foot to the wall, bringing the outside of your right ankle onto the left thigh. Turn that knee out, toes back to the shins, pushing into that left foot to raise the hips. And lower on your out breath. Lift on your in breath. Lower on your out breath. Keep that knee turned out on that right leg. One more time, lift on the in breath. Lower on the out breath. Then release that foot to the wall, so both feet are on the wall now. We're going to move in and out of like a bridge position, but in a slightly different proprioception. Feet are hip width apart. Push into the feet, keep the gaze up to the ceiling. Coming up onto your shoulders as you push the hips up nice and high. On your out breath, let everything come back to the mat. And we'll do this 4 more times. Push into those feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the bump. As you raise those hips up high, chin comes into the chest. As you lower, slowly feel each vertebrae come down to the floor. And again, push into those feet, lift up those hips. And lower back down. Try not to let those knees sway any further than hip width apart. And the last time, push into those feet, lift up those hips, come onto the shoulders. And lower, slowly back down. Then wiggle yourself back into the wall. The bum touching the base of the wall, the feet up the wall. Let those toes again come back to the shins, keeping the arms out to a T shape. Then slowly let those legs lower to one side of the room, turning and twisting through the waist as you gaze towards the opposite hand, bringing that twist into the body. So my legs have gone over to the left and my right shoulder's pushing into the mat. Holding it here in this rotation for a breath. Then bringing the top leg back up first, back to the centre. Bring the other leg to join it. And then with control, let the legs slip over to the opposite side. The gaze to the opposite hand. Slowly letting those legs release. Those shoulders putting into the mat. Pelvis turn towards one side of the room. Head turn to the other. Using that breath. Then bring the top leg back up first, back to the centre. Bring the other leg to meet. Both legs up the wall. Just allow the eyes to close, everything to relax. Then let those legs slip out to the sides, one to one side, one to the other. Bend into the knees. Bring the feet so they're pointing up. Bring the hands onto the shins. Then just bring that happy baby into play. Maybe lifting the heels over the knees. Just drawing those knees into the body. Plugging those shoulders into the mat. And then bring those feet back onto the wall. Soles of the feet come together. And just find that place in butterfly legs. Not trying to force the knees any closer to the wall than what they naturally want to come. Just placing the hands wherever feels comfortable for you. Just holding it here for a while in relaxation. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. Just holding here for a few more breaths. Notice how those hips are feeling, how those shoulders are feeling, how the inner groin is feeling stretched, and just straighten those legs back up the wall. And just take a few moments, maybe the legs are a little further apart. Let the legs come out wide again. And just find a place here in relaxation. Switching everything around you off. Bringing the knees back into the centre. Take a bend in the knees. Just bring yourself onto one side of the body, just letting the knees drop down to the side. Taking that fetal position just for a couple of breaths. Then pushing into the hands. Bringing yourself all the way back up to seated with the back against the wall. Into a thumbs into that lower part in between the floor and wall. Take a nice long deep breath in. Long sigh out. Bring the hands to the chest. Bring the palms together at the top. Then bring the